What's going on, folks? It's your main man, Rick the Dawn. First off, a heck of a season so far. In this episode, we have to do this, and I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I'm tired of people switching their picks. I'm tired of people using the live feeds and trying to, pick what they just saw on TV. No, 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 no. It's time to make your picks. It's time to make them final. There is no more backtracking. Look, both of my picks are out the game. Michael and Pooch are gone. So at this point, I'm out, but I'm still going to make a pick in this episode. So if you're watching this right now and you're a Big Brother fan, at the very least, you have to go to the comment section and tell me of the top five who is going to win this game. There's no more running. It's no more hiding. There's no more picking around. This is it. This is it. Top five. It doesn't get much better than this. Top four, technically. But anyway, the point is, we're still far enough from the finale where if you pick the right person, it will still feel good. I mean, you pick the right person in the top three, who cares? Pick the right person in the top four, who cares? But we're still far enough from the finale where if you pick the right person, it still feels like you guessed it. All right. But anyway, before I do that, I want to give a great shout out to the amazing people who keep supporting your main man, Rick the Dawn. I really appreciate you. I love y'all. You're like friends to me at this point, and it's amazing how this game brings so many different kinds of people together, and I love it. So with that being said, I do appreciate the amazing people that watch and support the channel. This episode is brought to you by my website, wordy.com. It is a website that gives you 15 seconds to say whatever you want on my platform. And when people go to the site, they'll see your message. So if you go to wordy.com, you will see a message there. And also, this episode is brought to you by brokenheartshirts.com. I just dropped 6 brand new shirts on the site. So excited about those shirts. Go check them out. All right, folks. Enough of that. It's time to get to the business. It's time to make your final calls. If you're just joining the live stream, I'm so glad you tuned in with me live. It is like 1:01 in the morning, but this is what real fans do. We go hard. Now, the question is, which of the top 5 is going to win the game? This is it, folks. This is the final opportunity to pick before you look like someone who's cherry picking, someone who's looking at the answer sheet. This is the final time. And I will admit, my picks are gone. Michael and Pooch are gone. But I'm still going to make a pick for this episode because I have a very compelling reason for the person who I think will win the game from this point in the game. And just in case you need a refresher, the players that are still in the game are Brittany, Turner, Alyssa, Monty, Taylor. Those are the top 5 players. Now, quick question for you. Did you know that Matthew? I had no idea of that until I Googled it. Okay, but Turner's real name is Matthew. Who knew that? I didn't know that. Anyway, who is going to win Big Brother? We're not going to spend all night on this. It's already late anyway. Who's going to win the game from here? Okay, here we go. I'm going to tell you the person who I believe will least win this game. I think the person who has the least chance of winning this game. And that person within the top 5 is Brittany. Okay. I believe Brittany has no chance of winning this game for reasons that are pretty obvious. I like Brittany as a person. I think she's a very beautiful soul. I think she's very sweet. But in terms of a competitive game where you have to backstab and lie and do things like that, I don't believe that Brittany excels in that environment. So for me, it's very obvious. I'm going to say that she is least likely to win. For me, number 4, I'm going to say the 4th person that is least likely to win. And by the way, thank you for that like. I appreciate it. The person who I think is 4th in terms of least likely to win, I'm going to say Alyssa. Look, Alyssa is starting to turn on a little bit. She's starting to get a little hot. She's doing some things that you're starting to kind of look at and take note of, but I think it's too little too late. I think anybody that's in the top 5 will love to sit next to Alyssa, and there's a reason why they would want to sit next to Alyssa. It's because she turned on her game a little bit too late. She was caught up in a showmance for 3/4 of the season, and I don't think that anybody views her as a real threat to win the game. But just because I'm saying that, it doesn't mean it's true, because let's face it, when it comes down to it, it depends who's in the finals. If it's Brittany and Alyssa, I think Alyssa has a good chance, which is why I put Brittany under Alyssa in terms of the top 5. So anyway, for me, Alyssa is 4th because she had a late start. Okay, number 3 for me is going to be Turner. Okay, I think Turner has the third least, I should say the third possibility of winning. And this is probably because what Monty just did. The fact that Monty called the shot to eliminate Michael, I think that's going to matter. Um, Turner does have more HOH wins. I think that Turner has played a better strategic game. But if you ask me, Michael was more afraid of Monty. Okay, Monty was the player that Michael stayed up thinking about. And if you watch anything concerning Michael, he always brought up Monty this, Monty that. And I think that's because Michael understands that Monty was a bigger threat. Okay, Turner, look, I think he was a runaway winner earlier in the season, but I think there's been a couple weeks in which things have got a little muddied for Turner. Number one, the reason I can't put Turner number two on my list is because if it were not for Monty putting the pressure on Turner and taking down, what was it, Alyssa off the block, Turner wouldn't have done that. In fact, Turner was prepared to send either Brittany or Alyssa home, which tells me that not in my top two. Not in my top two. In that case, had that scenario played out, that would have been Turner literally handing $750,000 to Michael. Because if Turner would have gotten rid of Alyssa or Brittany, that would have solidified that three-guy alliance. Okay, and listen, Monty, Turner, and Michael in the final three is not even close. Michael's going to destroy both of those players. So, in my opinion, the fact that Monty got rid of Michael, I think that's going to matter in the end. Now, the only thing that could destroy that plan is if Turner is a better a better speaker when it comes to the jury, because Turner can say that was his move. But if Monty can articulate exactly what took place, I do believe that Turner is going to certainly take second place to Monty. But anyway, if you're just joining me, who is your top who is your top pick to win the entire season from right this point, from the top five? And all right, so my second pick, the person who I think will be a runner-up this season, is Monty. Okay, Monty had a really weird season for me. He started off very, very cringe for me. The fact that he took Taylor's information and brought it to Paloma, I just thought that was a very rookie mistake. He never seemed to pick a side of the house. He played the middle, and I believe that Michael called that out several times. So for that reason, I never really latched on to Monty's style of gameplay. I expected, he was a little underwhelming for me as well. I expected so much more from Monty in terms of competitions, but actually it was Michael who took all the thunder and storm when it came to competitions this season. And, but I will say this, Monty did a lot to rejuvenate my thoughts and my belief system, my belief in him. I started to like him more towards the end, and I think I saw a lot of other individuals in terms of my friends on Facebook, some of the people that talk to me here. I've seen a lot of people come around to Monty opposed to what they saw in the beginning, or what I saw in the beginning. People didn't like Monty in the beginning. At least my wife and I didn't. But I think that he's done a lot to recover some of the love that he lost with some of that early stuff with Taylor, the bullying, the fact that he was one of the orchestrators of the bullying, the fact that he stood by and watched as Daniel berated Taylor, all those type of things. Those things made me pretty much steer clear of Monty. But he's shown a different side of himself. The breakdown and the breakdown with Kyle when they were talking about the whole forgiveness thing in the room, I thought that was pretty endearing from Monty, and he just showed to be a different kind of person. Maybe I judged him too early, and that has forever just kind of shifted my belief system when it comes to him. I don't really, but I still think that he will make it in the. He's the second best person to win this game this season. That's just my personal opinion on that. What do you think? All right, but number one, I think Monty will be a runner-up, but the person who I think from this standpoint who will win the game, and I don't have any rhyme or reason. I wish I had a clever way to spin this, but I just don't have one. I feel like for the first time that maybe this pick is based on what I see as fate. I'm going to say that Taylor is the person who will win this game from here. And I know this is my second time doing one of these who will win type of episodes. All right, I did one a while ago. You can watch it. And I said that Michael will win, and obviously I was wrong about that. And I could very well be wrong about this one. I think that Taylor from this point will win the game. And it's all, I mean, I believe in fate to a great extent. And it's just the way that the season feels. All right. The way that look, if you watch the last episode, what took place? You saw Turner put Alyssa and Brittany on the block. And when that happened, I thought to myself, why did you not take a shot at Taylor? Do you not see the colossal threat she is? You don't think the whole bullying scandal is going to matter? I mean, people don't want to touch Taylor right now because they don't want to be guilty or found guilty of bullying her. To me, that's a huge problem. That's a huge threat. So when Turner doesn't even consider it, that makes me very, very confused. And we also must consider that though Michael is aligned with Brittany, he's also aligned with Taylor. And that's another reason why Taylor should have maybe gone on the block. Okay. But neither of those things happen. Turner doesn't even look her way, and she also does not go on the block. So for me, Taylor is looking very strong, and she has a great, great jury defense. Look, the first 6 players to leave the game were all people who bullied Taylor, which means that either she's really strategic or other people in the house really like her enough to play her game for her. So you can't ignore that. If you're in a house with 16 people and 6 people are bullying you and they all go home sequentially, one after the other, then yeah, that's pretty impressive. And don't sleep on the fact that Terrence just went home. That's another player who had been bullying Taylor the entire season. He just left. Jasmine threw a couple jabs in there when it was opportune. All right, when the time was opportune, she left. So there you have it. Taylor has executed, whether directly or indirectly, every opponent that she's had in the season. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't think she's played this immaculate game. I don't think she's been a competition juggernaut. I don't think that she's been a social butterfly. In fact, I think she was she lacked quite a bit of self-awareness at the beginning of the game, parading in the kitchen with the sparkly dress on, with a lot of, that was just bad gameplay. But the maturation process that she's gone through in terms of going from being the victim to now being the strong woman. She got a freaking endorsement by Lay's. Like she's made a full turnaround. How many people, and be honest, listen, Taylor, don't forget these very important facts. Taylor was one of the first people on the block. In fact, she was the first one on the block. Do you not remember that? She was the first one on the block. And what happened? Fate stepped in. That's why I said fate. Paloma had her dead to rights. You can if you thought that Big Brother was scripted, then this was the biggest evidence of that being the case, because you had Taylor on the block. She was gift wrapped for the house. Everybody was upset with her. Daniel was upset with her. Paloma had the whole house on her side. And what happens? Paloma goes through some kind of issue where she gets taken out the game. What was the chances of that happening? Okay, if that doesn't happen, Taylor is not even a thought right now. But because that happened to Paloma at the perfect time, right? At the perfect time, because that happens, Taylor makes it all the way to top 5. Okay, if that and then if that's not enough fate or scripting, if that's not enough, then the next person who goes out was don't give me the lion. I don't remember the order, but anyway, I do know this. Oh yeah, it was Pooch, right? Then it was Ameerah, and I believe it was Nicole. Then it was Nicole. Then it was some other people like Daniel and stuff like that. So listen, that's insane. Every person who bullied her in the beginning eventually met the demise in the game, and I don't know if that's scripted or fake. But I do know this. I said it a long time ago. I said she's untouchable because anybody who targeted her has been axed by this point. And then Turner brings her into the left. Turner and Monty bring her into the Leftovers Alliance, which pretty much put her on a station wagon to the final 5 or the final 7, maybe final 8. Okay, final 8. Basically, it took her all the way to BB Dire Fest and Brochella. I mean, come on now. This, and then as you watch her, as I watched her this episode, she has so much grace. She's extremely beautiful, extremely beautiful. She carries herself very, very well. And remember, this is something that's very important. Even though she had got bullied, most people would have lashed out, would have been very, very nasty, would have said some nasty things. But what did Taylor do? She handled every single one of those opposing evictions with class. Maybe she threw some low blows to Nicole and Daniel, but that was on their way out the house, and she didn't hit them as hard as she could have. She was a class act from start to finish, and I have to say, I am impressed with this woman. I'll be honest with you. She drove me crazy in the beginning, but I like the person that she has become, and she's always been a sweetheart. Look, when Nicole was having issues, what did she do? She went to her and tried to comfort her, and Nicole was the nasty one and tried to twist her words and feed her to Daniel. But she even though that was her enemy, she went to console her. And remember, I don't know if you remember this, but when Taylor was on the block, what did she do? She broke down crying and she ran to Paloma, and Paloma hugged her and rubbed her back. So Taylor is just a sweetheart, and I think that is going to matter, or I should say that has mattered to this point. She's never been nasty to anyone. She's never targeted anybody based on color. Look, she hated Terrence more than anybody in the house. So I mean, this chick right here, man, this lady has just been just so impressive from every standpoint of the game. And I wouldn't pick her to win this game if Turner and Monty showed me some inkling that they even recognize her. But here's my opinion: Monty is, though he's not saying it verbally, he's protecting Taylor on a subconscious level, and it just seems that way to me. I think that I don't think that Monty. I don't think that Taylor goes home by the hands of Monty. And you could even make the argument that Turner is also going to protect her on a subconscious level because listen, Turner is the one who stood up for her. If you don't remember that, when all the bullying was taking place, it was Turner who stepped up and protected Taylor. So think about that. Turner and Monty might be arguably protecting Taylor without even knowing it. Okay, and then you got Alyssa. Alyssa might be in a girls part 3 alliance with Taylor. So Taylor is sitting in a really nice position. The only thing that might deter this actually from happening is if Monty and Turner wake up and realize, wait a minute. First off, Monty and Taylor should be targeting each other, but they seem to be working with each other for right now. And if that continues, eventually they're going to look at Taylor and say, wait a minute, we got to take her out the game. And at that point, Alyssa looks really good to win the whole thing or get to the finals, I should say. But what do you think about my picks? I picked Taylor to win the game. Monty is a runner-up. Turner as a third player. Alyssa is 4, and Brittany is 5. There has to be some disagreements there. I know Taylor is not the most popular around the Big Brother world, but that I'm not picking her based on me liking her. I'm picking her based on her chances, based on her position in the game. That's why. Also, I will say this as well. I think without question, Taylor is going to win America's Favorite House Guest. Who's going to compete with her besides Turner? All right, and I think Turner has already turned quite a few people off. I think Taylor has a great shot at winning that as well. I believe that, and I'm going to go on record and say this, it might be a clean sweep. She's going to win the thing, and then also she could also get America's Favorite House Guest. Look, I could be wrong too. I'm over here in the comments. Let's see what y'all say, what y'all think. My main man, Jason Lowe says, I think Taylor or Monty will win, in my opinion. We seem to be pretty much aligned, but it sounds like, Jay, you might have Monty 1, Taylor 2nd. All right, I'm hoping Monty wins. Okay, I stand corrected. All right, when Michael told Taylor, hey, I never put you up, not once tonight, that was another good, exactly. So Michael, I would say one of the strongest players in the game, one of the smartest players in the game, never even thought to put Taylor on the block, which says a lot in my personal opinion. All right, my main man Tim says, I'm with Monty to win or Alyssa, and only her because it would be funny. Hey, look, I'm right there with you, Tim. I'm right there with you. When it comes to Alyssa, I've given her a lot of grief, a lot of flack, but she's made it to the top 5. So who cares what I think? And you know what else I'll say? I'll say this. I'll say that from now on, I'm going to change my perspective of the game. I don't care who wins competitions anymore. I'm looking for the quietest player. That will be who the person, like when I watch this season, BB25, I'm not looking for the person who stands out. I'm not looking at the person who wins competitions. I'm not looking at the most popular person. I'm looking at the quietest people, and I'll pick from them. And I think with that strategy, I'll get further with my predictions. I'm going for the quietest players, and I'm going to go from there, and I'll work my way backwards because it seems to be that floaters are, and I don't want to call her a floater anymore. I'll say she's laid pretty low. I would even say she's a late bloomer. I think that's a little fairer than floater because she was pretty active. She's pretty active in this last eviction. She wasn't necessarily just lying in the couch or lying in the bed sleeping or flirting with Kyle. Since Kyle has been out the game, Alyssa has stepped her game up a little bit. And I think at this point, I'm willing to call her a late bloomer. I don't share those same feelings for Brittany. For me, Brittany is still a floater. I haven't changed my view of the way that she played the game. Sweet woman, very nice woman. But in terms of the game, I don't respect her gameplay, and it is what it is. It's okay. But yes, if Alyssa were to win, I would find that hilarious. I hope Monty doesn't win because I don't want to. I don't want to go. I don't know. I just never, like I said, Monty, it's like, first impressions are everything. And my first impression of Monty was a person who tried too hard to fit in. And the fact that he told Paloma what Taylor said, that, it's just like, I was like, oh, come on, dude. Come on. Like, that's the way you're playing. Like, come on. I haven't got a chance to get 100% back behind him. But I will say I'm about 78% on the side of Monty, about 78%. That's more than it used to be. I would personally prefer to see Turner win over Monty, if I can be honest. And again, I didn't pick my top five based on who I wanted to win. I picked my top five based on who I thought would win. But if I had my own choice, I would like to see Turner win over Monty, if I can be honest. And I would still pick Taylor. That's who I want to win as well. But I also think she has the best chances of winning from this standpoint because she's out of the way. She's out of the way. All right. And I guess Brittany could possibly interrupt those plans because I think Taylor could be in trouble once we get to top three because they'll say to themselves, all right, we're basically at the top three. Nobody wants to sit next to Taylor. Look, if she doesn't win the HOH to pick who she goes to the finals with, she doesn't even get to the finals because nobody is going to want to sit next to Taylor. I don't think anybody would want to do that. The only person who she could hope would do it is Monty, and I don't even think he would do it. So that's my opinions on that. Where am I at? Oh yeah. So Jason says final five. Sharon says I hope Monty or Taylor win. Like I said, I'm right there with you. I think it's gonna be Taylor. And as as where is that? As Tim said, Alyssa, that would be funny. Alyssa is growing on me. All right. It's in terms of how much I support her. I'm at like a 61. I'm still very low, but I'm getting there. In terms of Turner, I'm more like an 86. Like I said, Turner took some steps back for me, but I'm starting to get back. I'm working on Turner about 86 for me. And as far as Brittany, more like a 35. I like her as a person. And with Alyssa, it'll be funny to me if Brittany made it to the finals and won. And you got to believe this. Brittany is such a sweetheart that she could probably garner some votes in the final two. She could probably possibly do it in the same way that Josh did it. Like Josh did not strike me as a player who had any shot of winning anything, but he won, and it was because they hated the other player so much. And Brittany could be that kind of player as well. But anyway, with that being said, I'm still going to pick Taylor. That's who I'm thinking from this standpoint, based on what I've seen, how sweet. She's smiling all the time. She's always happy. She's in no distress. So that is my pick, and I'm going to stick with it. All right, folks, that's my final pick. I've seen and heard your final picks. No more changing, okay? No more changing. From here, let the game play out. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. But thank you. It's late. I'm going to go to bed. I'm sleepy. All right, but God bless y'all. I love y'all, man, and ladies, and I'll see y'all on Sunday. All right, peace.